Hello, guys. Welcome back. I want to talk about frame rates and refresh rates. Here I'm using the OpenXR toolkit. As you can see, I'm cropping my image, my 100% image, so it's native uh, this way, and I'm getting this resolution 3679 by 2722. I'm using the Pimax Crystal Light, and this is the headset's uh, native resolution 4286 by 5202. Right now, here it states refresh rate 90, but that's not working. I'm using 120, and I'm locking the frames to the half of the refresh rate. So that's why uh, you see there 60 frames per second on top of this window. Okay, so I'm using CAS for the sharpening, and sharpness right now is at 60%. I can use more or less depending uh, on your taste or your eye. You can try. Sometimes I use up to 100, but we are not going to talk about that. Just going to talk about the refresh rates. Okay, what I want to share with you is my experience and what you need to know about this. Okay, I want to share with you also. Let me change the with the OpenXR toolkit. I'm going to change the location um, of the frames, the frame counter, so you can see it right here. You see it? It's there. I'm going to make it bigger. There you go. Okay, let's exit. And now you see I'm having 60 frames per second on top. Well, let's go. Again, don't look at my performance as a pilot. Just uh, let's share some information about frame rate. Okay, right now, if I look to the side, if I look at the lights there, I'm watching them pass by as maybe two or three poles, like it's double vision. Okay, if I look down, I'm not getting a smooth texture. The ground is not good. As soon as I go up and the ground moves slowly to my eyes, I don't get that sensation. But when I am close to the objects, especially when I look to the sides, I get this ugly sensation that the objects, the terrain looks blurry or with double vision, like you're not getting a real uh, thing. Look at this. If I look here, when I look to the front, it's beautiful. But if I look to the sides, I'm getting this ugly sensation. It's not real. Right now I'm getting 55, 60, 56, depending on the on the performance that comes from what I'm looking at. If I look up to the here, I'm going to get 60. Okay, but if as soon as I go up, those 60s will be always there. Okay, 100% resolution. I'm having a good visuals here. I have all the instruments, all the 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 text is readable, the everything. Okay, the screens, everything. I can read. I can check all the information, the menus. Here I get the ADF, BFO, frequency, everything. Okay, standby, timer, everything. Okay, we are in 120 hertz, locked to half refresh rate. Okay, what about if we lower our resolution? Yes, let's go down and use 75% or 80. Let's use 80. 80% here. So we're going to use lower resolution, and let's see if I get any visual problem or if I notice this 20% uh, reduction of the um, resolution. I go out and go back. I'm using Control Tab. Let's go back here, resume. And what you'll notice right now is that I'm getting 60 frames solid no matter where I look at. I'm going to try going down. Let me go down. And those 60s will be solid. The sensation will be the same. I'm getting a blurry kind of image when I look to the sides. And that's because I'm not having 120 frames per second. I'm not feeling all the frames that are available with this refresh rate. I'm I have 120 frames constantly coming to my eyes, but they're filled only with 60. So in the middle, there are artifacts or this kind of um, result. So how can we fix this? Okay, the solution or my approach is this. You go to Pimax Play or whatever software you're using. If you're using virtual desktop and you don't want to use motion reprojection or also known as synchronous space warp, you'll have to change the refresh rate to a number that might be reachable with full frames. So in this case, I'm going to try 72. Remove the lock to half frame rate. So I'm going to get full frames. In order to be sure that we are going to be able to keep those 72 frames per second, right now, if I look to the sides, I'm getting 66. So I'm still having some issues with the resolution. So I'm going to change that here. I'm in 80. So I'm going to go down to, let's say, 70. This is just a test, okay? What I want to show you is that solid frame rates, filling all the refresh rate frames available, is going to be much better than having 120 hertz filled with the half of the frames. So if I look to the side right now, I'm getting 72. Okay, what I want to check if the poles here with the lights are going to be uh, smooth or not. If I look at them, I should see a perfect one image. You see I'm getting 72 and then 60 something, and when I get 60 something, the image starts to feel like a tearing artifact. Right now, in 72 frames per second, my feeling is that this is like having synchronous space warp using MetaQuest 3 or any virtual desktops headset. So, my conclusion is if you want to have uh, a smooth performance without choppy or tearing image, you need to feel all those frames natively, like I'm doing right now with the Pimax Crystal, having 72 real frames, or if you have a MetaQuest 3 or 2 or a Pico headset, use virtual desktops synchronous space warp to fill those frames. If you lock to half the refresh rate, you're going to get, in this case, 36 frames, real frames, and the rest to fill those 72 are going to be what we call fake frames, but those frames are going to make your, oh, I didn't go up, my landing gear was down, so you have to decide, do you want more resolution or you want this kind of smoothness? If you want to have both, you might have the motion reprojection technology activated like synchronous space warp, because right now even with a 5090 we can't get native resolution at the 100% the refresh rate, so you won't be able to get 72 frames per second constantly with a 5090 in native resolution. So this image of course is not the same as the native resolution at 60 frames per second using 120, but this way I am not getting the screen tearing effect that bothers me a lot. If I look to the sides, I'm getting a smooth, full frames experience. I'm not getting any jump or anything that breaks my immersion. And that's what VR is all about, immersion. If some graphics are not loading properly, you immediately feel like you're not in the real thing. And that's what we're trying to eliminate here. You decide. What do you think? Are you going to use lower refresh rates and fill them with real frames? Or do you think that 60 frames or 45, if you're using 90 hertz, is going to be better for your immersion? I'm in the middle. Sometimes I feel like I want to have this kind of sensation where almost never I get a choppy image, or you can try like I do and have more resolution, the native resolution, with 60 frames, meaning I'm using the half refresh rate. Pimax, please fix the smart smoothing thing, because if we don't have the smart smoothing working properly, we're not getting the same results as we're getting with the Quest 3 using virtual desktops synchronous space warp, which is awesome. It's beautiful. Pimax, please fix smart smoothing. We need that thing before anything, before any new headset, before uh, your priority should be fixing this or enabling 60 hertz so we can have 100% uh, frames in our refresh rate. If you're using the Quest 3, forget about this. Use 45 locked and use Space Warp, and that's it. Okay, I hope you understand what I mean with this video, and the tools are there. You can get 60 frames, you can get 72. It's a matter of reducing your resolution or your in-game settings, because you might want to have more resolution, but you also need to reduce some settings. I have a video where I explain what settings are hitting your performance, so you can maybe watch that video and decide to go with more resolution so you can feel more this refresh rate until you have 72 frames per second, because I'm not talking about 90 or 120, because you will never get that even with a 5090. And my feel here in 72 is beautiful. I'm not getting right now, maybe you see my frames drop and I got this tearing effect, but I might fix that with maybe lowering my terrain level of detail in auto FPS. So you have different tools to fix the game and get the frames you want. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe, send me your thoughts, what do you think, and we will be able to share more content about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, so we can get this thing even better with your current GPU and CPU. You don't need, sometimes you don't need to think about improving your system. Just tweak a little bit and you will feel the difference. DLSS 4 is a game changer, so we want to be sure we don't crash here. Okay guys, bye bye, thank you so much. See you in the next video, and I'm going to crash right now because I was distracted. Bye.